Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion.
The Chicago Sky are gearing up for the preseason, but there's an interesting twist. Have you noticed what the coach is doing with Angel Reese? She's being shifted away from the basket and given a smaller role. It's like asking a lion to leave its jungle. Reese, known for dominating near the rim, is being pushed out of her comfort zone. The stats reveal the strategy. They want her to take more mid-range shots with a slower release. Last season, she hit just 39.1% of her attempts from within 5 feet, the lowest percentage in the league.
And I wonder how her fans are going to feel about that. If she's further away from the basket, that doesn't mean there's going to be a lot of, or as many, I would believe, offensive rebound opportunities for one Angel Reese.
Could this bold shift be the turning point that revitalizes her career, or the beginning of a downward spiral? This move challenges the very qualities that built her reputation. The question now is, can she adapt to this unfamiliar role, or will she crumble when forced too far outside her comfort zone?
She has no skill. She has energy. She has an attitude. She'll rebound you the basketball. Great. Nothing.
Let's take a closer look at Angel Reese's work near the rim. Last season, she managed just 39.1% shooting from within 5 feet of the basket. These are high percentage opportunities, the kind most players convert with ease. Yet she couldn't even reach the 40% mark on these close-range attempts.
Attempts, and we know from 5 foot in, she was the most inefficient field goal percentage shooter.
When numbers like these speak louder than reputation, change becomes inevitable. Among players who logged significant minutes, Reese's close-range shooting percentage was the lowest in the WNBA. Top post players typically convert these looks at a 60 to 70% clip. Take Aja Wilson, for example, who used her excellent drop-step move to carve out space and finish 64% of her shots in the paint last season. Reese's well-below-average stats have forced the coaching staff to rethink her role. Watching the replays, you can sense the frustration. When she's right under the hoop, her body language tells the story. She often dishes the ball to teammates even when she has a clear path to score, a hesitation that suggests she knows this part of her game isn't her strength.
And now she knows it to the point that even when she's on the basketball court, she's aware, like, this ain't really my thing. Let me get this hot potato out of my hand and to somebody that knows what they're doing.
The numbers are backed up by the eye test. Reese's footwork in the post lacks refinement, her touch around the rim is inconsistent, and she has no reliable go-to move. In a key fourth-quarter possession against Connecticut, with only one defender to beat, she recovered the ball deep in the paint, but her awkward hook shot clanged off the rim, leaving fans visibly disappointed.
Runs down court with the basketball, 3-4 steps ahead of everybody, has an easy layup, and throws it to the girl behind her.
With Kennedy Carter gone from the Chicago lineup, Reese's weaknesses may become even more exposed. Carter was a potent scorer who drew defensive attention away from Reese, but now opposing teams can focus more of their strategy on containing her. Head coach Tyler Marsh is making major changes to Reese's role, the kind of drastic adjustment rarely seen for a high-profile rookie unless the issues are both serious and persistent. Watching her on the offensive boards, you notice a pattern. Before scoring, she often attempts the same shot 3 or 4 times, with repeated misses that kill momentum and squander valuable possessions. In a tense game against New York, she grabbed 3 straight offensive rebounds but failed to convert on any of them, leaving her teammates clearly frustrated. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe my channel for more awesome content. Thanks.
Carter is no longer on the team, and new head coach Tyler Marsh is busy installing a different vision for Chicago.
These problems aren't just about tactics. They touch on fundamental basketball skills most players master long before turning pro. WNBA post players typically spend years perfecting their game near the basket, developing counter moves, and learning to finish through contact. Yet, in a surprising twist, the Chicago Sky appear set to take a very different approach with Angel Reese. Coach Tyler Marsh is shifting her farther from the rim, a move that has caught many basketball analysts off guard. Instead of doubling down on polishing her post-game, the team is steering her toward mid-range shooting. It's like asking someone who struggles with basic arithmetic to suddenly tackle advanced equations.
Offense. The Sky plan to use second-year power forward Angel Reese much differently than how she was deployed in her rookie season.
The main obstacle is her shooting form, which poses a serious challenge to this transition. Scouts note that Reese's release is exceptionally slow, a major liability in the WNBA, where defenders close out at blistering speed. That extra beat gives opponents a clear advantage, making her shots far easier to contest. Imagine trying to get a clean look at the basket while giving the defender an extra second to react. That's the hurdle Reese must clear.
She's working on being able to shoot off dribble, and when the play call is for a catch and shoot. Yeah, but what does that mean? Because she's... look, we've all seen videos of her practicing. She's got a very, very slow as serve release out there.
Changing her shooting form is like asking a sprinter to run a marathon. It demands entirely new muscle patterns and physical adjustments. Muscle memory built since childhood would have to be retrained from the ground up. And while Reese's past numbers show she hasn't yet mastered finishing at the rim, now she's being tasked with developing a professional-level shooting stroke in just a few months, something elite shooters usually spend years perfecting.
Yeah. Poe wrote that Reese was increasing the use of off-ball cuts and relocating her position to constantly create balance and space in Marsh's offense. Chicago isn't planning on asking Reese to increase her three-point production this season. It says the Chicago Sky want her to take mid-range jumpers. Okay. However, Marsh wants her to add more versatility to her shot selection by hitting mid-range jumpers, 10 to 15 feet.
Reese has expressed confidence in recent interviews, claiming she can adapt quickly and meet the team's needs. Yet, for anyone who has watched her play, the gap between her optimism and the reality of her technique is clear. Her body language often tells a different story about her readiness for this transition. The first true test of this experiment will come in the upcoming preseason matchup against the Barcelona national team. Picture this: Reese catches the ball at the elbow, squares up to her defender, and rises for her first professional mid-range jumper. Every attempt will be scrutinized, analyzed, and used as evidence for or against Coach Marsh's plan. The question is, will her shot even clear the defender's outstretched hand?
Chicago Sun-Times, Reese has yet to post up at training camp as she learns the new role for the offense. Oh, this should be very interesting. Quote, for Reese, that means adapting to a modified role that will tap into her full potential as a stretch four.
In attempting this shift, Reese is essentially reinventing herself as a player. Most athletes spend years mastering new skills before making them central to their game, yet she's being asked to make this transformation almost overnight. The entire basketball world is watching to see whether she can pull it off.
Poe wrote about her new role on offense. This doesn't mean Reese will never post up again, but Marsh understands if the Sky want to build an effective offense, they need to start building out space in the half court. I don't hate that.
There's also a potentially damaging side effect to this shift. It could strip away the very thing that made Reese a household name. Her relentless pursuit of offensive rebounds and putbacks fueled the double-doubles that defined her brand. Moving her farther from the basket means fewer chances to crash the boards, and her signature stats could take a noticeable hit.
So I think it's going to be pretty easy. How easily Reese masters the offense will determine how successful the Sky are in 2020-25. The offense was a sore spot for the rookie, and how former head coach Teresa Weatherspoon let Carter delegate it.
But what if the experiment fails? If her current mechanics make mid-range shooting unworkable and her post-play remains ineffective, the Sky will have gambled everything on a transformation that basketball history suggests is rarely achieved in such a short window.
If her offense ratchets up to the next level, the Sky could be scary. So, the question is, how is this going to work out?
Still, there may be an unexpected upside to this bold strategy. Moving Angel Reese away from the basket could turn out to be the surprising solution no one saw coming. After all, we've just gone over how much she has struggled in the paint, so why keep her stationed in the very spot where she's least effective?
I'm not going to lie to you. I actually feel a little bit better about her standing back further away from the basket, shooting jumpers. I do, actually.
Right now, Angel Reese presents a curious paradox. She knows her limitations, sometimes passing up open looks under the basket. Yet she also repeatedly forces the same shots after grabbing offensive rebounds, often missing 3 or 4 times before one finally drops. Those sequences waste possessions and disrupt the team's rhythm. But moving her away from the paint could have ripple effects for the rest of the roster. Players like Camila Cardoso might capitalize on the extra space inside, converting at a much higher rate and creating a smoother, more efficient offensive flow without Reese's repeated close-range misfires clogging the lane.
Now that I've seen how bad her inside game is, it's still going to be interesting because her claim to fame is what? Double-doubles. All right? That made her this hot commodity.
Imagine if Angel Reese fully embraced a shift from being seen as a scoring threat to becoming a dominant rebounder and lockdown defender. Rather than forcing her into a scoring role she's not yet equipped for, the Sky could build their identity around her relentless energy and defensive grit, qualities she already excels at. This moment marks a turning point in Reese's career, as Chicago's coaching staff reimagines the kind of player she could become in the league. How she navigates this challenge could define her future. Will she develop a reliable mid-range game, or follow a Dennis Rodman-style path as a defensive force who owns the glass? The answer starts now, with the upcoming test against Barcelona. In the WNBA, adaptability is everything. The question is whether Reese's legacy will be written through mastering the boards or rediscovering her shot.
If she's not as close to the basket on offense, which she shouldn't, it should clear out the paint and underneath the basket for Camila to be able to rebound. And we know she can hit layups. We've seen them. We've seen them over and over. I've seen plenty of videos of her hitting plenty of layups. That could be better for the offense. He may also be fully aware that a massive hole in Angel Reese's game is the fact that she will catch a rebound and then proceed to put up 4 shots to make 1.
Here's where it gets interesting. If Angel isn't planted under the rim, what happens to the double-doubles that built her reputation? There's also an important distinction between offensive and defensive rebounds. Even in a new offensive role, she could still own the defensive glass, and if her positioning from the perimeter allows her to crash in with momentum, her rebounding numbers might actually go up.